This is gonna get good. I've been seeing a lot of requests to show off my collection since I added so many different pieces to it, like this beautiful King Arms FAL that I recently picked up from 878 Airsoft in Waxahachie, Texas. But while I organize all of my mess, I thought I'd show off 5 collections from around the world that really stand out. Presentation and variety is key here. There are possibly millions of airsofters out there from South America, Europe, Asia, and everywhere else in between, and I received a little bit of everything for this countdown. World War II collections, handmade gun collections, Cold War collections. I even had someone show off a sneaky hidden spot for his loadout behind a bookshelf. But here we are again. This is the Airsoft Tops Series, and this is the top 5 Airsoft collections. Okay, so starting this thing off right away, we have to shout out a couple people for their awesome collections, like these 2 caches that are just too good, like this crowded room of unique guns from David of Michigan. I see a couple Galils, some sexy G3 variants like that Tokamuri PSG-1, and even an MSG-90 build, an F2000, an MP5K, and Spectre submachine gun. And even more goodness on the floor, like that M1919, another Galil ARM, and an M249, and so on. This is a pretty scared pile though. So with a little work, David moves all of this into a closet and lined them all up, exposing a beautiful Israel FAL build, an AK-5C, and a bunch of AKs. With a little bit more work and maybe some leftover room somewhere in David's home, I'd say that David could set a few of his most standout pieces as a display. It looks like he owns more than 50 guns, but I'd say that 5 or 10 display guns could spice up any room or any office nicely if done right. Then Ryan of the UK needs a shout out for this table of awesome. There are several guns here that I could showcase in future shows. Like, I want to know the story behind that well rod, and is that supposed to be an HS-10 bullpup shotgun? I really have to come back to his table one day. But for now, let's check out the 5th spot that's held by a Belgian with a very clean and minimalistic stack of shelves. With an airsoft background going back 14 years, Dimitrios only owns 12 guns. However, this somewhat small collection still comes in at about $13,000 thanks to upgrades and modifications that he's done over the years. Of everything you see here, Dimitrios' favorite piece is easily his 4.3 high kappa that he built from scratch, with the second being his HPA AR-15WR. That would be a custom build that he put together specifically for performance, and he says it's an amazing setup. Altogether, this collection consists of a 4.3 Kappa, an Airsoft Surgeon 2012 IMM, a Tokamuri Glock 17, a Polarstar Magpul PDRC, that AR-15 build I mentioned, an amazing Sistema PTW MP5, a heavily customized Tokamuri SPAS 12, a Wolverine Tactical AK, a Tokamuri M870 Breacher, a GHK G5, a Sistema PTW AR-15, a Wolverine Custom MP5K, and a Polarstar AKS-74U. This collection made this list for how clean everything was and how it didn't look too stand out from the wall, as if these shelves were supposed to be here. Variety of weapon platforms was also nice. I love that SPAS 12, your MP5, and that scrumptious AK build. But with all this taken in, we have to move along. Jumping up from 12 guns to over 100 replicas, we have David of Massachusetts with his $12,000 collection at number 4. Just looking at this neatly laid out display, anyone can spot out something that they immediately like. David has dozens of AKs, several homemade grenade launchers, a replica of almost every iconic World War II gun, and I'm sure that tripod on that PKM wasn't cheap. This collection stood out for the diversity and for all the famous replicas you see. There is a lot of eye-catching stuff here, but David's favorite guns would be his LCT SR3M, good choice, his Marushan 8mm M712, and the Echo 1 ZB30 that pairs up well with the rest of his World War II collection. A 100-gun collection is exactly the easiest thing to store, however, which led to David resorting to a 40-foot Connex shipping container to store all of them. I'm sure a few favorite replicas are stored elsewhere to present them better, but I understand why this collection is mostly unseen when put away. I do enjoy looking at all of this laid out though, and I especially love the look of those G3s with Set Me Wood kits. That look never gets old. Something else that never gets old is a great presentation, something that just makes you say wow. Some collections you need to walk into a bedroom or an office to see, or open a box to check out. But for the 3rd spot, Mackenzie just needs to walk over to his bookshelves if you ask to see his collection. You should know where this is going already. This project began 6 years ago with help from Mackenzie's grandfather. The room you see was meant to store the water meter down in the basement, but after his airsoft addiction came to its peak at over 100 guns, he needed a place to store them, so they took down the existing sliding mirror doors and purchased 4 bookcases from IKEA and used kitchen drawer sliders to make them slide open and close. Then they added molding around the bookcases to give the bookcases the appearance that they don't move. Behind the sliding shelves, you'd find a neatly set up rack of replicas mounting up to about $10,000, with Mackenzie's favorite piece being his Bingo Custom Polarstar Viva Arms N1919 that turns heads whenever it's taken out. And yet again, I see another semi-finished G3 in his collection, and I noticed a lot of F2000s. I love how everything looks well lit and not too messy despite the amount of things that are stored in this small room. I'm actually very impressed on just how much is in here. Mackenzie has his boxes all stacked up, BBs under a table, and the lesser used guns off to the side, and all his tools that he needs to tech on them in drawers. He has outgrown this room recently, so I guess this can be considered a retired setup. Everything here will be rearranged into a new home, and into a 10 by 15 foot room with a nicer workbench and a new Galotech gun wall for a more high-end look. And until that's finished, I guess I'll have to say good luck to you on your project, Mackenzie. I hope you can make it stand out even more than this hidden treasure. So we're down to the final 2, the last 2 collections that the judges really enjoyed going through out of the over 100 collections that were submitted over Facebook and through fan-submitted emails. I really wish I could have had more time to show off more of them, like this unique HPA shelf or this British collection by a former top spot holder named Michael. And Marvin was so close to being a part of the show with this awesome display, but had to drop out last minute. I'm going to assume his favorite platform though is the P90 or maybe the Tavor. Are all of those Tavors HPA'd? Alright, let's move on. This is the runner-up spot that's easily held by a good friend of mine, and there's a certain vibe that this collection gives off. I guess you can consider it a theme. This is Ludvig's Real Fake Guns collection. There is no way you can ignore this collection despite it being the second smallest on this show, because every gun on this wall is made as close to the real thing as possible. That's the whole point of the Real Fake Guns YouTube channel, to add as many real parts onto an airsoft gun as you can and to show you how to do it. Any of these guns that you see here would rank up high on any of my gun build episodes for the pure handiwork that's needed to put them together. Even if you took all the guns off the wall, the presentation is still amazing, with the lighting, the pegboard that's designed to fit the more 80s to 90s theme that Ludvig is going for, and for how clean the whole room is around the collection. Normally, ammo cases and pegboard makes a room look a bit tacky or all around ugly, as it doesn't blend in well at all, but Ludvig managed to change that. Now, fitting all your guns with real parts isn't cheap at all. Usually Ludvig swaps out about 70% of all the parts with surplus parts from real guns, so this small collection is still worth about $13,400. And with the new Galils, the very sexy Galils that he just added to his collection, I'd say that the price just jumped up. Those rifles alone are worth a trip to Sweden just to touch, but his favorite guns would be his full-size gas blowback Uzi, made out of real parts of course, and with KWC mini Uzi internals inside. And then we have his M16A1 build with real vintage Colt parts. He even threw a real full auto lower from Colt onto that gun. Real Fake Guns focuses on retro guns, the stuff that we've all seen in old action movies from the 80s and 90s, and he's been doing so since he started in 2002. So if you like his collection or any of the guns that you see on this wall, then be sure to check him out on YouTube with the links provided down below in the description. That'll also be the place where you can find information about all the ranked collections you see on this show. So if you need any more info, then you should be able to find it there. Also, if you haven't yet, then spank that subscribe button to help USAirsoft break 170,000 subscribers. Every new subscriber helps the channel grow and lets me know that you want to see more of these countdowns. But with all that read and said, let's dive into the Top Spot collection. I had a lot of collections submitted for this countdown, but this was easily the most professional entry I saw. Taking the top spot from Thailand, this is Chris's office. This is a real businessman's collection. It belongs to a man who travels between countries to get work done, and yet it only consists of 26 replicas. That's fewer than my collection, but no one has a better presentation than Chris on this show. When the only thing I can pick on is cable management regarding the PC setup, then you know that's a lovely collection. The lighting, the lack of distracting or standout colors, the organization, and the all-around showroom feel is what kept our attention, and the addition to lights on top was a great touch. This collection focuses almost entirely on upgrades and total performance, and not the volume and replicas. Everything has a purpose here, but Chris still has a favorite gun, which would be his G&G RK74E, because of its lightweight and comfortable build, and its medium length for both indoor and outdoor games. Together, in this room, you're looking at $12,000 on the walls of this workroom, where Chris can see his entire arsenal displayed, and simply pick off the wall whichever gun he wants to go into combat with that weekend. This collection just looked the best according to the judges for its lighting, matching color scheme, comfortable appeal, and for its practical sense. I myself liked the presentation altogether, and could imagine how visitors to Chris's home would just react when they walk into this room. The same could be said for Ludvig's office as well, so I might see some comments arguing back and forth over who really deserved the top spot. But for this countdown, I'd like to congratulate Chris for taking the show. All these collections were awesome to take a look at, from the modest to the extensive, and this episode really reminded me that I need to make more countdowns to show off just a few of the guns that stand out in the world of airsoft. I do have a list of shows to put together, from Speedsoft shows, DMR countdowns, and another pistol countdown, since high kappas are really looking awesome lately. But until any of those episodes come to be, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Airsoft Tops Series, and I hope to see your support by making this video break 1,000 likes in a day. Don't forget to tell me what your thoughts are about any of these collections with the comments down below, or tell me your idea for a future countdown. But until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I will be sure to see you all next time.